Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 bum. Da-da-dum, bum, bum, da-da-dum, bum, bum. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise, Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1456, which means we are 4 sleeps away from celebrating 4 years of daily live podcasts. Has it really been 4 years? Wow. Anyway, we'll talk more about that on Monday. So today was our last full day of classes. Tomorrow we get like half a day, I think it is. I'm not sure. We've got long classes. We're doing DNA tomorrow. But today we looked at federal land records. We looked at probate records. We looked at Kathy Baxter, I'm going to kill you. So I have to tell you a quick story. I was getting ready to go on air, and Kathy sent me this. Kathy and I send videos backwards and forwards each time about funny things that we see and all that sort of stuff, or memes and that sort of stuff. So she sent me this one it was a British version of Kids Say the Darndest Things. And it had they asked the kid how he got there, and he told him about the bus and the train and the posh car and all of that. And then he starts talking about his mother's knickers. Saying about how she has them on backwards, and he wanted her to show everybody how they were on backwards. I was laughing so hard I ended up in a massive coughing fit, and just right as I was about to come on air, so I had to go and walk around, take some deep breaths, get that under control, and splash the face a little bit. And so yes, Kathy's now taunting me in the comments. So if you can see the comments, you can see what she's saying. Anyway, back on track. So we had looked at federal land records today, which was interesting, because I was learning about how in some states, there was 30 states that where the federal land was the first time transaction. They had the first time transactions that went from the federal to the individuals. And the other states, they had some other way of doing it, and I can't remember. I tell you, it's been a tsunami of information this week. Forget the fire hose. It's been a tsunami. And so talking about how to look up, and of course we're trying to look up things and the government website was down for that. So we weren't able to get on and have a look at that because the government website was down. After that was probate records and analysis, correlation and interpretation. And I have to say, I love the probate records. It's these packet of records that come in that have all of this information about the person who died. And then there's all these different laws that come into play based on what state they're in, what county you're in, the parish, and all of that. And looking at who can do what and when and how and everything else when somebody passes away, what the legal requirements and everything else. So that was kind of fascinating. Then we had colonial research, which was another favorite of mine because it was talking about international records. So we're looking at colonial records, anything prior to 1776. So we're looking at a lot of the British records and what you can find over there, which for me, I found fascinating since that is where the majority of my family research is in England, Ireland, and Scotland. So I got to learn more about places of those that I can go and get records from. So that was really cool. And he gave us some really great information. Now, most of the records I knew about, but there were some that I didn't even. I'm sort of like, oh, that's new. I haven't tried that one. So I now have a to-do list of go here and check this, and this. And then I'm thinking of all my clients as well and all their trees and going, oh, for this family tree, I've got to go check this out, check this out, check this out. And for this one over here, I've got to go. So I have these to-do lists for all my clients' family trees right now on different records I can go and check that I didn't know were available to go check. So we're going to go check them. Then the last one we got to do for the day was urban research, the strategies for urban research. And this could include things like census records, newspapers, map collections, tax lists, court records, utilities, vital records, business records, organizational records, military records, city directories, and on and on and on it goes. Anything that's held local within the urban area. And the guy that we had teaching it today, I have heard speak before, and he is like a walking encyclopedia, anything to do with military. He's done fantastic presentations the last 2 years for the military section, but this year we didn't do a military section at all in this. It was kind of intermingled with everything else. So we did urban research. And rather than going, he says, now given you an extensive, because they gave us this PDF file which had all of the notes in that we would need with the resources and the bibliographies and the references and all of that sort of stuff at the end of each section. I went and got it printed off, and because normally you're not allowed to print the stuff off because it's all copyrighted, but they allow you to do one copy for your own personal use. They say students may print one copy of the syllabus material from the provided digital file for their own personal use in conjunction with the class. So, but he said that there was notes that he provided. He said, they're fairly extensive. You can just go read them. He says, what I thought I would do today, we'll take you through a case study. And I'm like, I like that idea. So he took us through finding information on his own family. And some of the resources that he used, where he found things, this one led to this one, led to this one. It was fascinating. It was awesome. Loved it. And learned a lot more about those. I have used directories. I have used voter records. In New Zealand, we've got electoral rolls, so I've used those. I never thought of utilities, though. That wasn't interesting. I'm not sure how you'd get hold of it, utility records, so I'll figure it out. Map collections, court records, all that sort of stuff. It was just, the whole day was just like, this is really cool. Meanwhile, my brain is going, beep, 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 overload, overload, overload. My poor brain. We get 30-minute breaks. All right. So we did the morning session. We did the first session this morning. We had a 30-minute break. We then had another session. We had a 90-minute break for lunch. Then we had another session, then a 30-minute break. Every single break, I would grab this is what I've been doing throughout the whole week. I grab my phone, I put the timer on, so I'm back in my seat at least 5 minutes before the next class starts, the next segment starts. That way I wasn't missing anything. Plus, I also have another one that goes off at 10 minutes too, because I've got every class listed in my calendar. So it also has the 10-minute warning as well. So I get a 10-minute warning, and then my timer goes off 5 minutes for the class. And usually between with one going off and then the next one going off, I start moving when the warning one goes off for the calendar, and make sure my water bottle's filled, make sure I've got snacks ready to go to the bathroom, all that sort of stuff, and then I can go sit down. Because by the time the timer goes off, I'm in the process of walking into the office here to sit down and get ready for the next one. And I've already got my pages marked up because I've been doing everything on loose leaf paper and then tucking it into the syllabus, which has been working really, really well. So, but this time, my brain is so fried and so overloaded with information right now that I have been, today, whenever we had a break, it was run to the bathroom, go lay on the bed for about a 10, 15-minute nap, get up, go fill up the water bottle, grab the snacks, go and sit down, ready to go. Those were my 2 30-minute breaks. My 90-minute break, it was a good hour-long nap. Plus, I had lunch in there and got everything else done that I needed to do. So, my body just said, enough, we've got to take a break. And so I was listening to my body, being very good about listening to my body, and I would go take those breaks as needed and make sure that I got protein into me to help boost things up. To help boost the energy levels and stuff. I was having protein shakes and it was just anything I could do to help me stay awake today. It was brutal. Today was brutal as far as the body and the brain being so tired. One of the instructors required us to have have cameras off. And some of the instructors are fine. They go, I'm classroom style, leave your cameras on, be great to see your faces, put your hand up if you need to. This other one, we had another one who was sort of like, I want everybody's cameras off. If you have a question, put your camera on and raise your hand. And then I know that you need to ask a question. So if he saw anybody like come off their camera, he's like, what's your question? And they go, I don't have a question. He says, and turn your camera off. And I'm like, okay. That was the hardest class to concentrate on because if my camera is not on, my head, I would do my best to stay alert. I was doing my best to stay alert and stay awake and everything else. And the camera was off. And I'm just like literally sitting here, just sort of like taking little cat naps as I'm listening to stuff. So that one I'll definitely be. Thankfully, they are recording all of the sessions. And we have until, I think it's like August 12th or something, to go back and watch the replay. So I am thankful that there are recordings, because there are some I'm going to miss, because I was like looking at my notes and going, what the heck did I write? Because I would start off writing very clearly, and then it would just sort of like go to this, I don't know what the heck it said. Just like this little small, I'm like, what is that word supposed to be? So yeah, there'll be some recording watching coming up in the near future. Over the weekends when I have time to do it, when I have a little more time. But yeah, so today, another great session. Tomorrow we're doing DNA evidence in the morning, which I am looking forward to, since I did the DNA class back in December for part of my Genealogical Principles course that I did through Boston University. We had that 2-week class crammed into 1 week. That I've still retained a lot that I learned that week. So I'm very proud of myself. So tomorrow morning, when I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I get to learn about DNA again. So not sure what we're going to be learning. Well, if I had a look at my notes, I probably can tell. Then we've got a case study and correlating the evidence, and then a discussion on where to go from here. So yeah, they're putting out the list of next year's classes. I think they said October that they're putting those out. I get to enroll in January. I think it opens to everyone else in March, but I got the priority thingamabob. So that was kind of cool to win that door prize. Very, very happy to win that one. And so then they had the closeout session this evening. But since we're not going full day tomorrow, we finish early afternoon tomorrow. So I'm sort of like, yes. And then I'm probably just going to go and sleep the afternoon away. It's been too hot to go outside as well. So although I'll probably go and get my mail, but I'm working on my final project, putting the last bits and pieces together so I can get that submitted, because it has to be turned in before 8 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. So it means that I am turning it in this evening, so I don't have to do it, try and get up extra early to do it tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to do 5 pages, and I'm just like thinking, yeah, mine's going to be more than 5 pages. Okay, what can I leave out? What can I not worry about doing? If I put in the research paper, well, this is what I found when I did this and this and this. Follow-up research would be this, da, da, da. You know, I even said I even said in there, I says, for the sake of time and space on this project, we will not have the time to investigate further. Oh my gosh. I just, I'm trying to figure out why there's a word that says spelled incorrectly. I don't know. So yeah, brain fried. And now as soon as I'm off here, it's going to be a WALK with the DOG. This morning, we had the coolest temperature-wise walk we have had in ages. It was 87 degrees Fahrenheit when we went for a walk this morning. And at lunchtime, while I was eating lunch, she went and laid out on the back patio, and where there was no sun at that time, because the sun was already gone from there, because our back patio faces north. So we get first thing in the morning from the east, last thing in the evening from the west, and nothing in the middle of the day. But she insisted on going out there and laying in the heat on the back patio, and so I let her do that. And but yeah, she's been really, really good through this whole thing. But then whenever I have break, I'm like, come on, let's go. And so she jumps up and chases me wherever I'm going, and I go over to the door, open it up for her to go out for a bit and get my stuff organized. And although today I was sort of like, yeah, while I do this, she can be outside. Then as soon as she comes in, I'm going for a 10 to 15 minute nap. So I was doing little power naps, which were good between the break. So except the lunchroom was a nice hour-long one. Oh, I love that. So yeah, so we've had our closing ceremony and everything else, and then tomorrow mid-afternoon we're done for another year, and I can't wait to be able to have the time schedule time on my schedule to sit down and go back through the recordings, go back through my notes, see where the holes are in my notes I need to go and have a look at the recordings for and that sort of stuff. So it has been an incredible week. I can't believe it's already Thursday. This week has gone so fast. So fast. Like, we have had a tsunami of information thrown at us, but it all clicks in with the stuff I've learned over the last 2 years as well. So some of the advanced stuff I've already been doing because I've kind of figured out, well, if I go wonder if I can look at this, wonder if I can look at that. And then there's a whole slew of new stuff. I'm sort of like, oh, didn't know about that one. And so now I've got all these to-do lists to do for clients' trees. To go in and have a look and everything else. And I was actually kind of excited because I was looking for something else and I found something that I've been looking for ages. For one of my clients, there was this newspaper article that was put out when was that put out? It was put out in like 1915, 1916, and it was the story of one of my clients' like third, fourth, or fifth great grandmother from the 1800s, and it had been printed in the newspaper, and I know I'd seen it somewhere before, and I've been looking for it. This wasn't the one that I'd actually seen before. This was a different newspaper article. So I thought, let me go see if I can find the actual article because this copies are pretty crappy. Went on to newspaper archives and newspaper.com, and they don't have any record of it. And I'm like, seriously, people, what are you doing? Come on. So I don't know if they've got whole newspapers scanned in there for that time period or if they just have partial ones. So yeah, we're going to go look. Or maybe they don't have it indexed. They're not very big papers, so I can go browse through them. So anyway, that's it from me for today. Hope you've had a super fantastic sparkling day. Did you learn anything today? What new stuff did you learn today that you got to implement straight away, something that you learned that you were able to implement straight away, or something that you're going to be implementing like tomorrow? Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm looking forward to DNA tomorrow, and then correlating the evidence and finding out what's next. So now that I've done the track that I have done, which is sort of like a foundation, now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for next year. Do I start classes? Which track do I follow next year that starts with beginners, intermediate, and advanced? So I'm not sure where they are with the DNA class because I know there's one of those that has a beginners, intermediate, and advanced. The military one, I've already asked the instructor about that one, and he's starting the beginners class next year. And I'm sort of like, okay, how much on American military do I need to know right now? Or can I get by with the information that I do know? So yeah, there's going to be a lot of thinking going on over the next few months to determine what track I'm going to take next year. So I'm looking forward to that and finding out what they're coming up, what classes they're going to have, and that sort of thing, because they don't do a lot on, it's very American Central, except for like the one class we had today where they were talking about records in England from before 1776. So we will have to see. I might have to do another international class to give me more information on international records. But anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch what's that word, Zeph? Catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Yay for Fun Friday. Woohoo. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hey, Konera.